Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. All right, first and foremost, giving all honor and glory to y'all about y'all shot. All right, we back with another rendition of Milk Monday. All right, you already know what it is. Like and share the video when you come into the building so we can catch this algorithm, Baba Kashah. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. All right. Hey, man, we got a new channel on the scene, man. We got a new channel on the scene. I told y'all a couple weeks back, if not last week, all right, I told y'all that to be on the lookout for SOT Alabama, right? Well, lo and behold, SOT Alabama is on the scene. All right, if you go to the regular Sons of Thunder page and you go over to the channels icon, you can see SOT Alabama is on the scene. All right, they only got 146 subscribers. That is unacceptable. We got to get those subscribers up. All right, if you are already subscribed to SOT Alabama, put a 7 in the chat. If you are subscribing right now to SOT Alabama, put a 1 in the chat. All right. Go to the regular Sons of Thunder page, go to channels. You can find all of our channels right here. Alabama, North Carolina, San Francisco. All right. So go ahead and go to the channel section of the regular SOT page and subscribe to all of our channels. If you are subscribing right now to SOT Alabama, put a 1 in the chat. If you have already subscribed, put a 7 in the chat. All right, support the brothers, man. Support the brothers in their work. All right, support the brothers in their work. We're not going to be respectful of persons only follow one camp or maybe this camp. We're going to follow all of SOT. Because if you support SOT, you got to support us as a whole. All right, I'm going to shout out some people while we get ready to start the class. All right, I'm going to get my shalawams out. The Captain Yahawada, Soldier Dre, Brian Christian Greer, Joan Gilchrist, Holy Yasha Allah, Captain Yara All, Isaiah Santiago, Soldier Kevon, Soldier Knott, Sister Jasmine, Sister Abaya, Soldier Kazakia, Theophilus, Willie Jordan, Christopher Johnson, Sister Carla, Soldier Kowal, Terrence Bolden, Jezreel, Wynn, John Allen, Zephaniah, Soldier Keziah, Samara, Sister Samara, Soldier Derek, Sister Christina, Sister Anariah. There you go. I know I was going to catch it. The sister with the Hebrew name that we can't pronounce. There she go. Shalom, sis. We ain't seen you in a minute. All right, Soldier Azariah. All right, Adania, Sister Josephina, T. Sellers, Daniel Simeon, Soldier Shaquat, Rodney Stevens, Sister Baylor, Sister Natazah, Shalom, Soldier Yawasop, Shalom, DTA Twan, right? Soldier Jeremiah, Captain Yonatan, all right, and hopefully I ain't missed nobody. The Soldier Boaz, Shalom, Shalom. I don't think I missed anybody. I think that's everybody. Sister Maya Brooks, right? Shalom. Sister Dehaziel, Sister Shara, Shalom. Sister Abaya, Shalom. Adawan Kanal, Lauren King, Sister Kadash, all right? Another Hebrew name that I can't pronounce. I'm going to have to learn how to read these Hebrews, man. Soldier Zaya, Brother Naiquam, Soldier Shemaiah, Sister Dana, Salaki, if I said your name right? I mean, I said your name wrong, Salakia. I said Soldier Shaquat. Hey, man, Salakia. All right. Hey, the brother Malak, Soldier Jeremiah from North Carolina, Shalom King, and the brother Yahawada and brother Aaron. I got everybody. Hey, man, I don't know why I said Soldier Shaquat, because in my mind, I was saying Captain, and Soldier came out. Hey, man, no disrespect, man. I know you got your black shirt now. You know what I'm saying? That's on me. My bad. All right. Hey, but hey, make sure you like the video when you come into the building. All right. Also, subscribe. You got to share too, man. You part of the team. You got to share the videos, man. All right. Also, the other one got an excellent class. So, hey, we here for edification, not entertainment. So go ahead and get your pens, your pads ready, your Bibles, your Apocrypha, your concordance if you need that. And be ready to take notes and learn something because you might need this, all right? And with that, I yield. Yes, mid chew. All right. Hey man, I'm gonna keep checking these. Like you on mute, I don't want. I'm gonna keep checking these subscriptions
I did not
periodically.
know I was on live. I mean on mute.
Yeah,
But yeah,
kind of.
shalom, everybody, shalom. All right. So basically, as y'all see, we got a class today. Over whether we're African Christians or we're Hebrew Israelites. Slack from my voice. Lost it a little bit, you know what I'm saying, at work. But basically, if y'all remember that Christian group that we have been talking about a lot lately, the Jude 3 project, right? We're gonna do another class on them, brothers and sisters, right? As you saw recently, as you probably saw, Deacon has come into contact with, or not come into contact with them rather, but he's found them online and seen some mess that they were doing with the slavery junk, right? So, this isn't like gonna really be a let me back lesson, but it's gonna be along from the same conference. So at this conference that they had different topics that they spoke about and different panelists, right? But it was a particular conference that they had with different people. So this conference that they spoke about, they spoke on whether we were African Christians or rediscovering African Christianity, rather, was what it was called, right? So we're going to look at this video, basically listen to what they're teaching, because what I want you guys to understand and what you to realize now is what the church's agenda is currently, right? Or the black church's agenda. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to become more woke. You know what I'm saying? That being the case, they're trying to literally put themselves in a situation where, you know, it's very easy for them to retain the younger black and brown population that's leaving the church now and becoming Hebrew Israelites. So, or for what they call Hebrew Israelism, you know what I'm saying? That's what they call it in the church. So they're leaving the church for Hebrew Israelism. And they feel the only reason why brothers and sisters of so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American descent are leaving the church to become Israelites is because the Israelites are teaching them about history. The Israelites are teaching them about being Black. The Israelites are doing, that type of stuff. So that's what they think. So their idea now is to have conferences where they speak about rediscovering Black people in the Bible, rediscovering African Christianity, rediscovering the tenets and the culture and how it was, trying to prove to people that Black people were a part of the Bible too during that time period. You know what I'm saying? Instead of it just being Black people was the people in the Bible. You feel? Which is what we say, which is why people like it, because we're just telling it like it is. You know what I'm saying? Black people was the ones there. It wasn't they was there too. No, we was the ones there. It's our book. It's our culture. It's our heritage. It's for us, because that's what the book says, right? The Christian church isn't exactly going that far. So that being the case, what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna show you guys the video. You know what I'm saying? Y'all like and share. Let me put this up here right quick. So this video, like I said, it's gonna have about 6 panelists on it. They're gonna talk about Ethiopia and all that stuff that we don't like them talking about, but I got some things that I'm gonna show you guys today on how to combat that. Hopefully y'all take notes. And yeah, as you guys see the title of the video, of course, we're gonna use this under the tenets of the Fair Use Act. But if you want to watch the whole thing on your own time, you could go watch it. You know what I'm saying? We're definitely not gonna watch the whole thing because it's an hour and something long, and a brother's tired tonight, so that ain't gonna happen. But yeah, we're gonna get into it and just kind of, I'm gonna show you guys some historical things to counterbalance what these guys are saying. And mind you, they're gonna have some preachers on stage and some Black biblical scholars, right? So that being the case, I want you guys to literally listen to the information, because a lot of the information that they're gonna tell you guys, you already know how to combat it based off things you've heard either on our channel or other people's channels, right? So it's information that's easily, discoverable. Like when you hear it, that ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And you'll know what to say back. But I want you guys to realize how easy it is for them to just say it, and it's believable to the crowd, because most Black people in the Christian church aren't looking none of this stuff up. It's just a conference that they went to, and they're expecting these people at this conference to know everything, to have done the research properly, right? So the stuff that they're saying, they expect to be true. We're going to find out that a lot of it isn't or is irrelevant, right, to the actual facts. So without further ado, y'all hit the like button if you haven't already when you come in the building. Share the video. Let's get your notepad, your pen, Apocrypha, Concordance, Strong's Concordance, all that type of stuff, like the Captain Judah said earlier, and we're going to get into it.
Before we get into that, I want to cordially invite you to Courageous Conversations 2022. The theme this year is the scholar and the skeptic.
But before she gets into that, if you want to go to this thing, you know what I'm saying, y'all can pull up. It would be interesting if we like had a couple of Hebrew Israelites pull up to this thing in Washington, D.C. You know what I'm saying? That would be smooth. And then it's actually like some people from the crowd that have some interesting questions to ask.
That's an idea, right?
Next one, because they continue to have these. I plan on pulling up to these one day. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, I could pull up with a couple of the brothers and we could grill some of these dudes on stage. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, I don't know if y'all remember, but they have this biblical preacher named Esau McCullough or something like that, right? He's black, and it's just funny to hear them call him Esau, and then it's a brother that keep talking afterwards. So I just don't want y'all to be thrown off by that if y'all ain't seen it. They're not talking about a white person. It's a Negro on stage named Esau because his mama did that to him on purpose. All right, let's go.
We're back in Washington, D.C. at National Community Church with 7 amazing conversations. Conversations like, is there a God? Should we trust the Bible? Is Christianity a white man's religion? Does Christianity oppress women? Is Christianity homophobic and transphobic? Should we be spiritual or religious?
You see, all of these are questions that brothers and sisters in the black church always ask, right? Or questions or things that people in the black church always say, right? I'm spiritual rather than religious, all these type of things. So you literally see the questions that they're asking. So they're literally just trying to find questions based off videos that they see from us, right? They go on our channels, watch our videos on the street, our interactions with Christian brothers and sisters, and then they go and make conferences where they can ask and answer the questions from their point of view that they hear and see people asking us on the streets. You see what I'm saying? Or that they hear people asking us on the clubhouse. So that's their whole goal, right? And then once they get their questions together and they get some people that can answer it from a black point of view, they don't even use the Bible. It's just a black point of view. And if these people are Christians and they're black, or they're black preachers, or they're black biblical studies people that believe in the Bible, then they'll have them on stage to give their black point of view on these questions, right? So they have a different set of questions, obviously, for this lesson because it's about African spirituality, but this is just something to show you. These are the only questions that they're going to go over on that conference September 2nd and September 3rd. So that's just to give you a little gauge. Everybody that's going to that conference is going to hear this jump right here. So,
is Christianity bad for our mental health? We want to give you a blueprint on how to have courageous conversations with gentleness.
Huh?
She said, is Christianity bad for our mental health? I can answer that question.
Yeah. But see, the way they're going to answer it is not the way we would answer it, right? They're going to answer it like Christianity is the black thing that we should be following. Not, Hebrew Israelism, the ones that follow everything in the book. But we should just be black Christians and, hold on to that because black people were there too. You know what I'm saying? You'll see it. This is like a pre-conference to the one that they're going to have in September.
And respect. Remember, we sold out last time. So make sure you register early and get your ticket now. If you can't join us in person, you have the virtual option as well. Register today at courageousconvos.org.
They're called courageousconvos.org, but every time I hit them up for a convo, they never hit me back. Ain't that some stuff?
Our next conversation is rediscovering early African Christianity. Now, if you've been following Jude 3 for any amount of time, you know that we're heavy on introducing people to the rich history of early African Christian history.
You see? But I want you guys to realize in this video, the auspice that they're going to be showing you early African Christianity, it ain't from a African worldview. It's going to be from an Ethiopian standpoint. as if early African Christians are only Ethiopians. And I want you guys to realize this is important because who do black people like to call when they know anything about black Christianity? Who do they always run to? Oh, it's a certain people that got the oldest Christian church and right? It's always Ethiopian people. So it's a reason why Esau allowed it to be set up like that. Okay. And Esau did have something to do with that. We could prove that. So, we'll get into that though. So there's a difference between Ethiopian Christians and Ethiopian Israelites, right? And Israelites in Ethiopia are not Ethiopian. They're just Israelites in Ethiopia, right? But Ethiopian Christians are Ethiopians. They're Cushites. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But I want you guys to understand their African Christianity standpoint isn't from all African Christianity standpoint. It's not from a West African Christianity standpoint. It ain't from, the standpoint of the people in Angola and Zimbabwe and Cameroon standpoint or South Africa. It's only Ethiopia. You feel me? So you'll see it.
And we want people to rediscover it, to not look at the whitewashed Christian history you may have been taught in seminary, but to look at the rich history of early African Christianity.
Now, the thing that they should be teaching you, right, is the rich history of the Bible. Let's not look at the whitewashing of Christianity, right? Let's just go back to the rich history of the Bible and the Hebrew Israelites. Don't that make more sense? Because they were black, right? But these people aren't allowed to teach you that the Israelites are black because they still are connected to the church, which means they're still connected to those fake people over there in the land that's supposed to belong to us, right? So that being the case, there's no show where they're ever going to mention those people being illegitimate to the land into the title of Jew, right? But they are going to say African Christianity, and then they're going to lead you straight to Ethiopia, so that if you think from the church that you're a Jew and you find out something about that, you'll automatically go to Ethiopia too, which means the only people that you'll associate yourself with are those Ethiopian Jews, which we already know about those group of Israelites because we spoke about that in the video about a month ago, right? So, yeah, that's just to show you how that's connected, but you'll see more as we continue.
We have 4 amazing panelists to help us with this conversation. Dr. Vince Bantu, Dr. David Dan.
Vince Bantu, you heard his name before because he's the brother that we did one of the first videos on this people on, right? He's a biracial brother, black and Ethiopian, and he's actually Ethiopian by descent. He's a Christian, so he thinks he's black, but he's really a Cushite. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, he's a Nipsey Hussle type brother. You know what I'm saying? To say the least. And he's a Christian, and he teaches African American studies. You know what I'm saying? Though he's not actually an African American. So he also teaches the Bible from that standpoint too. David Daniels, he's just a preacher dude.
Dr. Esau McCauley.
He's a preacher as well. Esau McCauley. He's the brother, the really dark-skinned brother named Esau, which is hilarious.
And also Dr. Alan Waller. Today's panel.
And again, all of these men are quote-unquote doctors, right? So they're supposed to know a lot. You feel me? They're supposed to be studied in whatever information that they're going to give us. So, yeah.
Will be moderated by Jerome Gay. I hope you enjoyed this conversation.
Well, good afternoon to everyone here and to our virtual audience. We're excited about this conference, Reclaiming Christianity. Before we dive into the panel, I want to give you another reminder about being able to text in your questions using the QR code or the link. Go to www.pigeonhole.at and use the code CC21. That code again is CC21. We're going to dive right in because this is a very important topic because it has evangelistic effects when we think about how Africa is either whitewashed or ignored as it relates to the rich African history of Christianity long before the transatlantic slave trade.
Now, this particularly, the way that the Christian church is going about this is also the same exact way that the African American studies groups go about this, right? When they talk about whitewashing of Africa, right? They're going to talk about Egypt primarily, right? And I mean, that's basically it. They're going to talk about Egypt being whitewashed, right? So, but then they're going to talk about the Ethiopian Christians being, the Christians, the African Christians being from Ethiopia. So that being the case, I personally, just from my opinion, right? I like to bring out the fact that Israel is in fact connected to Africa. And I mean, if you want to be honest, everything, the whole quote unquote Middle East is connected to Africa. It's on the same tectonic plate. So once you stop at Kuwait, that's actually technically when you've left Africa. You know what I'm saying? Once you leave that place. So everything in Africa has been whitewashed from Egypt on up. You feel what I'm saying? So, but because of the way that geography is taught nowadays, that's not taught either. So I just want to put that out there. I'm not one of the brothers that like to say, especially when I'm talking to a black Christian that may know a little bit of something, that, we not African per se, because they might catch you with that. Sometimes you got to let them know that Africa is connected, you know what I'm saying? But Hamites and Israelites are different, though they might be African because we're from that African continent, you know what I'm saying? So that's just something I wanted to point out, because the way that they're going to explain this is from an African standpoint, right? So you might have to stoop down to a brother's level in order to explain that to them sometimes.
Dr. Bantu, I want to start with you. You wrote a book called Gospel Hamanot, and in it you said, Ethiopian theological literature as the concept of right or orthodox theology was of utmost importance to ancient Christians of the African continent. I want all of you to take a stab.
So what he's trying to say, and what they just started this whole conversation with, is trying to let everybody know and understand how important African Christianity, or how important Ethiopian Christianity was to the African continent, right? So they're trying to say that basically their whole premise is going to be that the Ethiopians are the ones that brought Christianity to the land of Africa, not the white man. When in fact, quote unquote, Christianity wouldn't have been it wasn't a thing before, right? It was the Israelites that were living in Africa that had something to do with the Bible that you would now call Christianity. You feel me? And then once the Romans became a thing, they basically turned that into the Christianity we know today, and then put people into captivity. So, like, what you have to understand is a lot of the information these brothers are looking up, they're looking the people up, and the people that they're finding, they're being written about and said to be, African Christians. But these people in bulk typically are Israelites that were in Africa. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what needs to be understood. I want you guys to understand that. So, but that's going to become more clear as they go on. I want you guys to see, as they started the whole conversation with Ethiopia, that's going to be the whole premise here. This guy, Bantu, is Ethiopian, and this Negro over here is Ethiopian. And they're both the so-called scholars that they have on stage to talk about African Christianity. These two guys are the preachers that are going to talk about African Christianity. So that's the way that they did it.
If I want to start with you, Dr. Bantu, why is it important to rediscover early African Christianity?
Yeah, that's a great question, Pastor Gay. I mean, I would say, just to jump it off, that it's important maybe for two reasons. Number one, because God made us black on purpose, and he made all of us the way he made us intentionally. So sometimes we might think that racial or ethnic or cultural distinctions are some kind of just temporary reality. And I think sometimes we subconsciously think that when we get to heaven, we're all just going to be the same. But when John...
Didn't we see that last week in the video that we showed, right? On that show, what was it, Belafonte or whatever? The white lady said, when I die, I might perceive Jesus as white and you might perceive him as black. We're all just spirits. You can be whatever you want once you die, right? He basically just said that that's literally something that's taught. So there's people that have that perception that you just, race don't matter in junk ever. It's just a thing that's here. You know what I'm saying? You can't come back and be the same race. You're going to be just whatever. I don't know. So that's how they look at it. And he's explaining that that's not really how it should be looked at, but he's also going to explain the rest of his, explanation from an Ethiopian standpoint, not an Israelite standpoint, which is going to really mess up a lot of people that are in this room today.
John looked up. He saw every nation, tribe, and tongue.
I will say Esau is going to come back and kind of get things right for the brothers and stuff, but he don't know enough to, outdo the information that the 2 Ethiopian Negroes is going to be bringing out.
So our diversity in the creation mandate, God said, fill the earth and cultivate it. And so he intended for diversity, and that includes blackness. So it's a beautiful thing, and it should be celebrated and known. But the second reason is because specifically Black people, Black history, Black civilizations have been specifically targeted, and especially within Christianity. Christianity has even been perverted and weaponized against to terrorize Black people. So it's even more important in the writing of Paul in 1 Corinthians 12 to give greater honor to the parts of the body that have lacked it, and to especially emphasize the contributions that Africans have made in Christianity since day one.
Now, see, look, hey, Judah, can you give me Jeremiah 23 and 1 right quick? I can't start with that, because this is something that we're going to see. It's a little bit prevalent, right? The pastors in this video, in the so-called scholars, are going to be like, here, I'm gonna rewind what he said. It's just
targeted, and especially within Christianity. Christianity has even been perverted and weaponized against to terrorize Black people. So it's even more important in the writing of Paul in 1 Corinthians 12 to give greater honor to the parts of the body that have lacked it, and to especially emphasize the contributions that Africans have made in Christianity since day one.
So look, yeah, I had to let him finish that part. So this part right here, right? He literally is explaining to you first that there's things that the white Christians have done to the so-called Black Christians, right? But then he explains how there's contributions that Black folks have made since the beginning. What none of them are straight up going to say is that the Black people are the ones that were in the Bible making all the contributions. They weren't white people there. You know what I'm saying? None of these guys are man enough to go on stage and say that, even though this is this is supposed to be a courageous conversation. None of them have the courage to just straight up say, wasn't no white people there. It was Black people that was doing everything during the time of the Bible. They was, under us. You feel what I'm saying? The history's out there. They know what the deal is. They teach it in schools now, certain schools, when you go to college and stuff like that, depending on the type of classes that you take. So it's like they teach it to you, though. It's there. You can go read about it in the books. And these brothers are supposed to be doctors, and they're not teaching you that information. Wonder why.
Awesome. Dr. McCollum. Hello?
Hey, give me Jeremiah before we read that. Before we let him speak.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, says the Lord.
It's easy to scatter people when you're not actually telling them the full truth. When you come on the stage and have a conference and make people pay money, you know what I'm saying? Which this is like them all getting a collection plate again, right? They getting it via virtual, you know what I'm saying? They getting it in the crowd. They got a whole stage up there and everything. So they made some bread off this thing. But so they making money. They got people paying to ask questions. And the questions that these people ask, they're not even getting full detailed answers on, right? They're not getting the full truth. They're only getting a little bit of it. And then the rest of it is just conjecture to fill in the blanks of the little bit of truth that they gave. They're not going to tell you straight up, tell it like it was. You know what I'm saying? Or tell it like it is. That's going to scatter the sheep of the flock, because it doesn't tell them the full scope of what was happening in the type of, position that their people were in back then. Therefore, it leaves a lot of things open for speculation, that if Black people and brown people, so-called, don't have these things answered, it keeps them in the church instead of giving them the answers they need to be able to leave the church, right? So what they're doing on purpose is they're answering just enough question, you know what I'm saying? Just enough of the question to be able to get by and keep people in the church without having to, tell it like it was or tell it like it is. Go ahead, finish reading that.
Verse 2. Therefore, thus saith the Most High Power of Israel against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and have driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doing, saith the Most High.
You see that? He's going to visit upon them the evil of their doing, because, I mean, they're constantly, continuously scattering the sheep of the Most High. Anytime we have them in a place where it's easy for us to go wake them up, they go and give them some more backwards information that we're going to have to now come back and compete with at camp. Now we're going to have niggas coming up talking about we was Ethiopians. We was the Ethiopian Christians. Y'all need to get back in Ethiopian Christianity. Jesus wore the ark. Watch.
I think that on a basic level, it's always important to counter a lie with truth. Absolutely. And there's a lot of people who are served by.
He said on a basic level, it's always good to counter a lie with truth. That's the reason why people like the Israelites. We've been countering all of the lies of the church with the truth of the Bible and the truth of history. Right? That's what we do. So he just told you that it's best to do what we do versus what they are showing you that they're going to do all night. They already started with the BS. Right? He just said on a basic level, it's better to go the route of the Israelite than to go the route of the woke church. Straight up.
Making the history of Christianity white. And if you grow up, at least what I did, in a Black context, there's always been kind of like the Black nationalist tradition in Christianity, the secular national tradition, that has said, well, you became a Christian just because of the slave trade, and the history of Blackness in Africa was Muslim or was not Christian. And so I just want to say, sometimes we have to be honest about what we're going to recover. So if part of what's happening in our day is a recovery of the history of Africa, and we want to kind of adopt this Pan-Africanism, well, I said, if you're going to go with Pan-Africanism and adopt the history of Christianity, adopt the history of Africa as a part of recovering Black culture in America, then you got to recover the Christian part too. And so you can't.
Now, I wouldn't agree with the Christian part. But I would say if you're going to recover African history and be honest about what we're going to recover, you have to recover the Israelites in Africa, because they weren't Christian until the white man came around. If you want to be real, the white man did bring them Christianity in Africa. Those people that are in Africa that followed the Bible were Israelites, like we see the Igbo today in the video I showed you guys, right? So it's like those people, them brothers and sisters, they weren't calling themselves Christians. If they were, they'd be in a Christian church, like the other brothers in Nigeria that's in the Christian church. Like the people in Ethiopia that's in the Christian church. Those people was Israelites. But that's the history that they're hiding from you. They're not hiding African Christians. They tell you the truth when they forced a lot of them to be that. The people that weren't forced, that were following the Bible, they weren't calling themselves Christians. They were calling themselves Israelites. The white man translated it as Yehudi, Benai Israel, Beta Israel. That's what it is, right? So, continue.
Can't just, if you're going to take Egypt, you got to take Christian Egypt. And so what I want to say is the first thing you got to do is to tell the truth about what happened.
And that's what they're not doing. They're trying to kind of tell the truth about what happened, right? Esau is doing what the people that have his name do, telling on himself. You know what I'm saying? Esau.
No, that's going to confuse me this is going to confuse me the whole show.
It shouldn't confuse you because he acts just like an Edomite.
He dressed like one.
He talked like an Edomite, dressed like one. Mm-hmm. Yep. So it just think of Esau McCulley. He might be an Edomite. Shit. Chocolate covered. You know what I'm saying? Dark chocolate. No milk. But, you know, it happens. So, but regardless though, right? He's just telling you straight up, it's going to be a situation where, you know, we're in a situation where our people are Christians now, and it's not because there weren't any black Christians. What he's not telling you is our people had the Bible before the white Christians came into Africa. He's not going to admit that. He's always going to put it under the precipice of Christianity. And the way that they're going to put it together is if we were always there with the white people. You know what I'm saying? Not we were there before the white people. The white people came and took it from us. That's the truth, right? They're going to make it seem like we were there with them.
Solve all the problems, but that's one thing. So it's important to recover it for the sake of a realistic reckoning of what does it mean to recover my African heritage. Because as far back as you can go, there's some black guy yelling Christ is risen.
So look, you see what he said? As far back as you could go, there's some black guy yelling Christ is risen. Why isn't he just telling you as far back as you could go? The only guys yelling Christ anything was black. The disciples that had the disciples that was rocking with Christ, they was black. The apostles, right? The brothers that was before Christ, they was black. The Maccabees, they was black. Jeremiah, black. Job, black. Moses, black. Why he ain't just saying it like that? And they made everybody white to make us not feel connected to it. So when we connect back to our African heritage, we also have to connect back to the people of the Bible because they were black. Why he didn't say it like that? Right?
And this is just true. So but on the other side, a lot of times the discourse, especially in some white, I'll say some, so people won't say I said all, some white Christian spaces, there's this idea that when they talk about diversity, they're inviting the people of color in like it's theirs. But like they're not inviting us in. We were here too. And so the important part is,
you see, they're not inviting us in. We were here too. No, the fact of the matter is what he should have said was they're not inviting us in. It was ours. They stole it from us. That's the truth. That's what we say that they're not telling people, right? When you go look it up, that's what you're going to find out. So that's what brothers and sisters need to be more honest about when they're in the church. If they want people to stay in the church, they got to tell people the truth. They're not staying because y'all are still lying to them. You're giving half truths, which is still a lie. In my book.
Say, I'm not being invited to a party that you threw. Jesus threw the party, and we were always eating at the table.
Jesus threw the party and said that we were the ones that were going to eat at the table, period. Right? But watch what he says.
From the beginning. And so both as it relates to dealing with...
And he said we were the people that were going to eat from the table from the beginning. So he's speaking even in parables to the people. They don't really understand what he's saying. Because he's not trying to just come out and say, hey, we was the only people there. You know what I'm saying? It's our book. They whitewashed everything, right? But he's going to be the most honest brother on stage the whole time, the whole night. Whole video we watch.
With kind of black nationalism that calls Christianity a whitewashed religion, and to look at white portions of Christianity that want to pretend as if we can only be invited if we meet their standards. And we had to say, no, y'all don't get to set the standards. God set those standards. And that's the reason why I think it's important to recover.
What he's supposed to say is, y'all don't get to set the standards. God put us in charge to set the standards. He chose us. That's what we say. They don't say that. They won't say that. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Cover all of our history.
I'm going to skip past him, though.
Out of the church.
Pull up this brother.
Dr. Waller, as a pastor of a large church and just understand evangelism, can you expound on this? Why is it important to rediscover early African Christianity?
Well, again, thank you for letting me be a part of this conversation. And I agree with my brother, first of all, because it's the truth. And just telling the truth about our faith is important to recover our faith and to help our community embrace the faith. Then secondly, it's important because we normalize the conversation and not trivialize the conversation. I'm a little older up here. And so, you know, when those that are just a little older than I am came back in the late 60s to the church saying, we got some questions that y'all can't answer, there was a departure out of the church. And that departure with Black men, and in many cases, educated, just sort of said the church is not ready to answer these questions. Cornel West says in 1987, there was sort of a resurgence of the Pan-African movement, those of us who began to raise the question, how can we be Black and Christian? And then there was the trivializing of it. And so we were all doing the finding Blacks in the Bible stuff.
Right. So He's explaining this part of the history because he sees that that's what a lot of brothers in the church are doing right now. He's making it seem like that's something we were doing back when I was young, and y'all are just doing it again. So what y'all all need to understand is that there was African Christians, yeah, we was there from the beginning, and that's what we need to start teaching more in the church so that we don't have to keep doing this whole finding black people in the Bible thing. That's the way he's going to look at it, and that's the way he's going to explain it, right? So I just wanted you guys to kind of get a gist from everybody. Now I'm going to let the Ethiopian guy speak right quick. Then we'll really get into the hash.
Ethiopians in places like Rome and other places of modern racism. And so I argue that around 1660, 1700 is when modern racism occurred. And so what was Christianity prior to modern racism? So let me just say a couple of things. One is that...
See, he said modern racism didn't start till 1600, 1700. He said 1670. Hey, Judah. When was the black people, when did they teach you in school black people was taking on the shit?
1619.
Ain't that before 1670?
I was just going there. I was about to pull a dagger. I'm trying to find
wait, it wasn't racist for like 50 years before we was put on the ship? I mean, after, like it wasn't racist until after 50 years we was put on the ship? That don't make no sense. They just put us on the ship and made us slaves and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? For no reason. It was just something that happened. They wasn't racist. They wasn't worried about preserving themselves and putting somebody else down. They could have did all the work themselves, right? They just did the free labor thing for no reason. Let's go get these African people, so-called, right? Then pick them up and put them on a bunch of ships and pack them like sardines, throw them overboard if they die or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And then make them eat shrimp, crab, lobsters, pig guts. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll bring them on shore and let them do their thing here. Right? That wasn't because of racism. That's what this Negro just said. And he's supposed to be the smartest guy on stage. Right? He gonna be throwing out all these dates and stuff like that, all these people's names, because he wants the people in the crowd to think he knows something. But if they knew anything in the crowd, the first damn thing he said was wrong. Racism, I say racism didn't start till about 1670, and nobody even called him out on it. Bro, what about 1619? Who was that? You know what I'm saying? 1623. What was that?
1555, as they say.
Or 1492. Damn. Come on, brother.
Europeans learning Ethiopian languages, especially gays, from Ethiopians in places like Rome and other places in Europe in the 1500s. Why were they learning it? They wanted to learn the Ethiopian Bible, to read the...
They were not going to Ethiopia to learn the Ethiopian Bible because they needed to know anything. They were going to Ethiopia to find out if there were Ethiopian Israelites there that had records of the Bible that we didn't have, right? He's talking about 1500s. Brothers like King James that actually had a Bible translated, they did not get any of their translation from the Ethiopian Bible. This is a fact. That's what he's not telling you. The church doesn't use the Ethiopian Bible. They use the King James Bible. King James doesn't have any translations from the Ethiopian Bible. You know what's in the Ethiopian Bible? The Book of Enoch. You know what's not in the what's not in the King James Bible? The Book of Enoch. You know why? Because he didn't copy it from the Ethiopians. That's why it's wrong. They have it. in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary tells you that. So it's recorded. Right? So things like that is history and research that Israelites do that we teach. The people in the church, they're not doing none of that. They just read stuff or hear stuff and then come back and say it, right? So he done made two mistakes already. He said slavery didn't start till 1670, and white people needed the Ethiopians to translate the Bible when the King James Bible has nothing from the Ethiopian Bible in it. And they think King James is white, or they teach that, right? So, yeah, that's just something that doesn't make no sense. Why would they be you going to Ethiopia because they wanted to know what the Ethiopian Bible had in it, but then they use nothing from the Ethiopian Bible when they translate their own, right? If King James is a white man, right? Because that's the way they're teaching it. Like, these are the white Europeans and we're the Ethiopians, and you know what I'm saying? Not like we're the people that was in Europe, which is the facts. And Kush was in Ethiopia because that's where they at. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But let's move on.
Ethiopian Bible. Why did they want to read it? Because they knew there were more books in that Bible than any other books. And they were trying to figure out, is there
More books does not mean right. And the Bible tells you that, right? Ecclesiastes 12 and 12. You want to read that right quick?
Con, you said Ecclesiastes 12 and 12?
Yeah.
Con, there's a book of Ecclesiastes. Salaki.
You see how the pastors just scatter the sheep? He's saying stuff, and the people in the crowd are like, yeah, they're probably taking notes. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Why else they gonna go to Ethiopia except to find that out? We got the oldest book. Yeah, we the oldest Christian church. Of course they want to go find out what we got. But then none of these Negroes is gonna go on the internet and look up what did they use to translate the King James Bible. There's no Leningrad Codex in Ethiopian. You know what I'm saying? There's no scrolls from Sinai in Ethiopian. There's no any codex in Ethiopian that brothers are using to translate the Bible. So everything he said about Ethiopia and what they wanted to go there for regarding Bibles and books was irrelevant to what was actually translated and what we have today. Because none of them are like, we ain't reading no Ethiopian book at church, not even at their church. So it don't make no sense. They're just bringing out irrelevant information to make brothers and sisters feel black in the room. They think that's what brothers and sisters want, just to feel black. We'll make them feel black. We'll tell them about the Ethiopians. But all the information they're giving you is wrong. Go ahead, read that out.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, and verse 12. And further, by these, my son, be admonished of making many books. There is no end. And much study is weariness of the flesh.
Much study is weariness of the flesh. So he's saying they wanted to go to Ethiopia to find out because they had more books. No, brother, that's more work. You know how long it took to translate just with the sources they were using? 7 years. Why they want to and then have to learn a whole nother language? The scholars were Hebrew and Greek scholars, not Hebrew, Greek, and Ethiopic, or whatever goddamn language is called. Judy, you know what that language is called? Because I don't know.
You said the Ethiopian language?
Yeah. Just the Ethiopian language. That's what we call it. We call it. Right?
you see, I was about to be inappropriate, but you did it. Go ahead.
So,
there's some knowledge that has been lost that Christians and Ethiopians had retained. But not only did they try to learn the language.
And that's why brothers that come into the knowledge of the truth after hearing Negroes like this teach, they're the ones that fall into the book of Enoch. The book of Enoch is in the Ethiopian Bible. Why y'all ain't using that? Y'all didn't teach that. They didn't teach y'all that in one less. Them Negroes don't know nothing. They don't know nothing. They ain't going back to Africa. Right? This Negro went back to Africa and he ain't told you a damn thing that was historically correct yet. What's the problem? Maybe it's Africa. I'm just saying.
Language. And this is all the way up to the 1600s that they're seeking to do that.
All the way up to the 1600s, meaning in the 1600s, who's there to translate? King James. Oh. So why didn't they use anything in the Ethiopian language or of the Ethiopian Bible afterwards? Because the Bible we actually got came from who? King James. What year? 1611, 1600s. Oh, damn. Hello. That's why. So he just told you subliminally they didn't even use anything from the Ethiopian Bible. This went on to the 1600s. But none of them in the room know that the Bible was translated in 1611, the one that they use. So if it stopped in the 1600s, it wasn't used. They wasn't going to Ethiopia no more to find out what was in the book. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, Jubilees. What's that other book? They got the Book of Enoch, the Book of Jubilees, the Book of Jasher. All of them is in the Ethiopian Bible with the heathen, Cush, the Babylonian, the people that ruled the Babylon the first, right? You don't think they're gonna have anything to do with Babylon the second? Babylon the Great? Come on now. They're Amalek's scapegoat for the black Jews. And these brothers are helping them with that, making you think that you're in Ethiopia.
Not only that, but they are also looking to Ethiopia, especially the Catholics and the Protestants, to try to find a way of renewing the church, just on the Protestant side. So some of you already know the fact that there's a person by the name of Michael the Deacon who meets Martin Luther, not in Ethiopia, but this brother travels to Germany, to Wittenberg, to meet Martin Luther in his own home place where he's living and working. And Luther wants to interview him because he wants to learn, is, in my language, Ethiopian Christianity a forerunner of Protestantism? He wants to know, is the Bible in the vernacular?
He said Martin Luther wanted to know, is Ethiopian Christianity a forerunner of, white Christianity? You know what I'm saying? Now watch the things that he's going to say.
And not in Latin? And the brother said, yes, it is. He wants to know, do they have communion of bread and wine, which the Catholics don't allow at that time? And he said, yes, it does. He said,
so wait, I want to stop there. Because communion of bread and wine, what does that include? Huh? We call it communion. I mean, they call it communion, right? What do we call it? Seder meal, Passover. So we drink our wine in haste with the bread. You know what I'm saying? Yahushua was eating the Passover when he said it. You know what I'm saying? Gave him the New Testament. This is exactly. Right. He's telling you that the Ethiopian church, the dude that ran it, is telling Martin Luther, yeah, we old Christians, we do communion. Israelites didn't do communion, and it was black before the Ethiopian Christians. So that would mean they're the forerunners of the black people in the Bible, right? Of the Christian church. The first Christian fathers weren't Ethiopians, they were Israelites. The Byzantine Empire wasn't ran by Ethiopians, it was ran by Israelites. Right? This guy's going to pop up soon in a little bit, but I'm going to show him to you before we get to that part, just so you know who I'm talking about when it pop up and you know who they talking about, right? This is a man named Persinius Nigger, right? And I want to correct something right quick while we looking this up, because brothers, we like to say, because of the way it's spelled and the way that they have a country named right now, right? That is Niger and stuff like that. If you go into the Greek and look at the word that's in Acts 13:1, it's pronounced nigger, which is why they pronounce the word nigger when they talking to us. You know what I'm saying? That's how they pronounce the word in the Bible. I'm going to show it to you in the blue letter. So, but yeah, this brother is a Greek. His name is Persinius, Niger, I'll say, for the sake of the lesson. And he's black, right? He's a Roman emperor from 193 to 194 AD. His successor was Septimius Severus, who, basically did the overthrow, the rest of it. You know what I'm saying? So these two brothers are very influential because they both were quote unquote Christians, believed in the Bible, and their fight, right, is what started the Black Christian church in Rome, which we know Rome is the beginning of the Christian church, Roman Catholic, right? Christian, Roman Catholic, same thing. You know what I'm saying? Roman Catholic first, right? So the black Roman Catholics were basically, the empire of them was started by this guy right here, Pessinus Niger, okay? And it was carried on and basically made an empire by Septimius Severus, okay? They're both black, and neither one of them are Ethiopian. So I just want to point that out first, but we'll get back to them in a little bit. So I just wanted to let homeboy say that. We're gonna get into the meat and potatoes in a minute. Hold on.
Are the priests married in Ethiopia? He said, yes, they are. And he goes down, it's all in your head. And he's saying, no, all you need to do is look at the church in Ethiopia, the church in Egypt, the church in Greece, and you'll find out that there's historicity that's there. And I'll end with this. Not only does Martin Luther meet with...
So you see, he's trying to tell you all you need to do, don't look to Israel. Don't look to Judea. Don't look to the Maccabees. You know what I'm saying? Just look to Ethiopia and Egypt and Greece. Right?
Oh,
You didn't say Rome. Exactly. He's teaching them to be Hamites. Right?
With him, not only is he interviewed, but Martin Luther and Philip Melanchthon write letters of recommendation. I really think it's more than that.
I wonder why. Would they be recommending the real Israelites? Or would they recommend some fake people? You're wondering why they allowed to use, or why they thought to use the Ethiopian people as the fake black Jews. It's because Martin Luther started it. If you know anything about the KKK and you know how they move, Martin Luther is very influential to them. It's a lot of stuff you can connect with this, just off the information the brother's giving you. But that ain't what the lesson's about.
But let's just say it's all it is. And those letters are sent throughout Europe saying when this brother arrives, treat him as if he is somebody that you need to respect because he is.
Yep, because we're going to make him a Jew one day. And his people, right? But let's fast forward a little bit. Right here.
Even revisionist history, why is Northern Africa viewed or presented as Southern Europe? Did you catch that?
Now, I want you guys to listen to this, okay? Because basically what they're going to imply here is that in order to be black in the Bible, you had to be Ethiopian. And I want to prove, once again, how that's not at all fact. Because the black people in the Bible were not Ethiopian. They were Israelites. Ethiopia is connected primarily to the place Ethiopia now, that was formerly known as Abyssinia, that was formerly known as Kush, right? So that's Ethiopia. We are the Israelites. We're different people. I know that there's a doctrine out there that Greek people and Roman people used to call all black folks Ethiopian. That ain't true. Because you're going to see in the Greek, the reason brothers like Pessinus were last named Niger, and it's a word that they still call us today, is because that's what they called us, not Ethiopian. When they ever mentioned us and they likened us to something and didn't want to speak on us particularly, they would say we're likened to the Ethiopians because they always knew the Ethiopians to be Cush. We got burnt faces like them. But they were never actually calling us the Ethiopians. That's what brothers don't understand. When they wanted to call us specifically, it was always black, swarth, Niger, or nigger is how it's pronounced, right? Stuart, which is swarth. It's all black.
Yo, after you finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
After you finish, I got to read something, bro. Because these dudes got it. You want me to read it now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because these dudes can't get away. Because the title of your class is, were we African Christians or Hebrew Israelites? I'm going to read something from a book. Do you want me to shut my screen or I can just read it? Y'all can look it up.
You can share it. You can read it. Do whatever you want to do.
I'll just do it just so y'all don't think I'm making it up. All right. Boom. Y'all can see my screen. I know y'all not gonna be able to see the actual words, but I just want y'all to see the name of the book. The name of the book is called "The Popes, the Catholic Church, and the Transatlantic Enslavement of Black Africans between 1418 and 1839."
Wait,
now watch this.
Slavery ain't. I mean, racism didn't begin till 1670.
Yes,
Yes. Talking about 1404, sir.
You know.
They wasn't putting us on no ships in the 1400s. I was in Ethiopia. Ethiopia.
Hey, watch this, yo. I'm gonna just start from up here. It says the Portuguese missionaries, especially from the members of the Jesuits order, sent by the church to evangelize, which that's what the dude just said. This is an evangelistic doctrine here. That's what he said in the beginning, right? So what he means evangelize, it means to convert people, right? To evangelize. Say it again. Go ahead.
What he meant by evangelize was convert in the right way, which is why he's trying to bring it out in the black way.
Right. So it says the Portuguese missionaries, especially the members of the Jesuit order, sent by the church to evangelize the pagan natives of the West African Atlantic that not only take active part in the slave trade, but also lived from it, gravely profited from it, and depended heavily on it for their sustenance. Millions of the blood money occurring from this baneful traffic in humans were invested in providing infrastructures for the education and training of priests and seminarians belonging to the Jesuits congregation and other women and men religious orders. More so, a greater portion of the stipends emanating from the mass baptism of Black African slaves hurriedly carried out by these missionary priests before the embarkment of slaves for their journey of no return to the West Indies was reported to have flown into the coffers of the Catholic Church in both Portugal, Spain, and Rome. So why did we read this? Right? And I can stop sharing my screen. Why did I read this? One of the questions was, hey, was Christianity a racist religion? It's showing you right there. Your enslavement, right? Especially those who went into the West Indies, we know they profited from it. But not only did they profit from it, they used the money to daggone fund Christian schools. So we could not have been Christians. We couldn't have been Christians when we was.
Why you think Black people get it so hard when they try to go to them private Christian schools that y'all be trying to go to sometimes? They be making y'all pay more money than all the white folks, and all the white folks got more money than y'all because they don't want you there.
Hey, bro.
They be giving your kid the smallest uniform, so all their stuff be out.
It's too easy to look this stuff up, bro. It's too easy. So, like, the elder just made the class saying, well, we Black Christians, Israelite Christian, Salakia, African Christians or Hebrew Israelites, we know for damn sure, Salakia, we know for sure we wasn't Christians back then.
Nope.
These pastors need to read, bro.
As this goes on, we're going to prove it a little bit more. I'm actually glad you brought that book out. That's crazy. It's got slave trade and Pope in it at the same time in the title.
Bro, it's called The Popes, the Catholic Church, and the Transatlantic Enslavement of Black Africans.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful find. I just found it. It was beautiful.
Oh, man. All praise. How you missed that? Your big old head, man.
Why is Northern Africa presented as Southern Europe?
One of the things, and I think this goes into what happens in biblical studies, and people need to
watch Esau tell you how smart he is.
Understand.
I wanted to say, watch Esau tell you how smart this Black behind this, but that just don't sound right, bro.
That just is weird, bro.
Oh man,
how Blackness gets defined in North America versus what happens in the actual academy. And this gets to the thing that you're talking about. So in America, we all know they had this thing called a one-drop rule. So if you have one drop of Black blood, you're Black. So if you got pulled over by the police in 1930, you couldn't say, I'm mostly white, can I mostly not get hit upside the head? You were oppressed, right? Now, when we then flipped over, and this is in all the literature, and they're looking for the black presence in the Bible. This is the question he got to earlier. The standards flipped. So just think about this. In America, if you get pulled over, one drop, you're black. But then who's black in the Bible? Well, then the only black people in the Bible are people who look like me, like dark black folks. And so you had this high standard of, in order to be considered black in Bible times, you had to be Ethiopian. But if you're in America, you had to be one drop. And so what happens is,
you see how he didn't use African American and then he used Ethiopian one drop? He's likening the people that are called one drop black in America. He's calling them one drop Ethiopian. He ain't calling them black. He's calling them, or African American. He's calling them Ethiopian. He's trying to, yeah. His name's Esau. All right. But his name Esau McCulley. Yeah, sit on that for a minute. And he's dark as hell. But
I ain't gonna lie, yo. In school, if I was in school with that brother, he said anything about me, I'll just read Romans 9-13 every time. But God don't like you.
You probably don't know that scripture. He don't even know it exists. But like, so he's telling you that you have to be Ethiopian to be black in the Bible. He said they're dark as me, right? Notice he's admitting that the Ethiopians be dark as him. He didn't call them black. He called them Ethiopian because that's what they're trying to make it seem like we are, right? But we're not. We're the Israelites. So I want that to be understood. Give me Isaiah 43:3 right quick, because Ethiopia is actually talked about in the Bible. And if this brother who's a preacher actually read the Bible, right, he'd know he need to change his name because he can't be called Esau. God hates Esau. If he read the Bible, he'd know you don't want to be Ethiopian because it says stuff like this, right? Go ahead, read that.
There's a book of
Or
Isaiah.
what they might be doing, before you read that, I just thought about this. Damn, I hope that's not what they're doing. They might be reading it like this to make us seem like Ethiopians, to give a reason as to how we end up being slaves, so that this scripture come true. They'll make it seem like this happened already to us, but read it. We'll see what happens.
Hey, Kenneth White, guess what? We supposed to rebuke our brethren. You see what I'm saying? See, people like you,
Hold on,
your brothers go off and not say nothing because you scared to talk to your brother's feelings.
Yeah, because
so
here's the thing.
Brother.
Here's the thing, brother Kenneth. Brother Kenneth, right?
Sorry,
here's the thing, brother. We are not niggas, right? That's what they are, right? Negusa negast, right? The King of Kings. That's how they say that, right? To us, that's a byword. The white man don't call them niggas because it's a word that means king in their language. He ain't calling them that. He calls them Ethiopians, burnt face, right? For us, nigar is not a word that is even in our language. So it's a word they made for us that means black, right? That's what they call us, niggers, right? So it's not niggas putting down niggas. It's niggers putting down niggas, technically, right? I want to fix that if you want to be real. Second, we have the white man's dream, right? It's not technically the white man's dream because those people are a separate people from us completely. And the Bible even says this, right? But give me Isaiah 43:3 before we read that.
Come on, Isaiah 43:3. For I am the Lord thy God, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for thee.
So he says what these guys want you to believe, and that's not biblical. He says black people will never succeed until we all come together. Black people don't need to come together with all black people. Black people need to come together with their other Israelite people who may not be quote unquote.
And I will get proof of that.
Right.
My question is this, real quick, Kenneth White, do you believe in the Bible, brother? Because I'm gonna back you up with a precept I don't want.
I wanted Exodus 11:7 too.
I got you. I'm gonna back you up with a precept real fast. Because you just said that all black people don't need to come together with all black people, right?
Yep,
This
we
is
don't.
the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? So we can't all come together, man. We can't all come together unless we in a like mind, right? And that's why we teach, so we can bring our people into their right mind, right?
Here's the thing black people don't understand, right? You'll never be in like mind with the Hamite because you're two different people.
Whew.
You can't be in like mind with them. Y'all think different. Your spirits are different. They do different stuff. Kenneth, if you're a brother, you'll never think to stick your head up a rhino's behind to see what you could find. But a Hamite, he gonna think about it, and he might just take a look, and he might get caught on camera. Head might get stuck. You know what I'm saying? Jake ain't doing that
at all.
Right? I believe the truth can be found in the Bible, but it's covered in what?
Dross. What is
I
would.
You mean draws? It's covered in draws? But I still don't know what the hell that means. I don't know what he's talking about. What's draws?
I would contend that we send this brother a link.
Diana Ross? Is that what you're saying? It's covered in Diana Ross? I don't know what the brother trying to say, Judah. That's confusing.
He's using Esau's words, not Esau the white man. Esau that's on stage.
Well, let me finish. Let Esau talk right quick, and then we're going to get back to
I just looked up the word. It says something regarded as worthless rubbish, but you say you believe in the Bible. How
so
can
you didn't tell me something. Kenneth, are you English?
Yeah, it must be.
I don't know no brothers that use that word unless they, probably saying, hey, bruv, right? It's covered in dross. You know what I'm saying? Like, Brett, everybody got time for that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Bruv. Hey, give me Exodus 11:7. I want that before we go. Before we continue.
This is Exodus 11:7.
You don't have to be Ethiopian to be black in the Bible, right? That's for one. Two, the Bible actually tells us if Kenneth believes that there's truth in the Bible, he needs to believe that the Bible tells you everybody's skin to you ain't kin to you. So we don't need to come together with people that have nothing to do with us, right? Read that.
Oh my Lord, Kenneth. This is Exodus 11:7.
Damn. Go ahead, my bad.
But against the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue, against man or beast, that ye may know that how the Lord have put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
How the Lord put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel, right? There's a difference between us. The Bible is unquestionably a tribal book.
Okay.
We'll take that. It's a tribal book for the 12 tribes only.
Right.
Not any other tribe. It's for 12 tribes. If you're not of the 12 tribes, then you can't touch the Bible. It actually says that. We're going to get it to it later, right? In fact, we might get into it. Give me Psalm 50 and 16. Let's get it now, right? Because I'm sick and tired of Ethiopians talking and people talking about we need to come together with black people. Ethiopians weren't even supposed to have a Bible in the first place. And the Bible says that. Did you know that? Because of what Exodus 11:7 says. The dog shall not move his tongue against the children of Israel. Not with the children of Israel. Not in front of the children of Israel. They don't even need to talk to us. Who need to talk to them for? I ain't got no Ethiopian friends. I don't. I never did. Not one. They just never. One supposed to do with you. You know what I'm saying?
I want Kenneth. I want you to prove that the Bible divides black people with scholarship, not your opinion. If you could do that, I might send you a link.
Wait, I'm gonna prove that the Bible divides black people. We just read Exodus 11:7. Give me Psalm 50 and 16.
This is book of Psalms chapter 50 and verse 16. But unto the wicked God said, what hast thou to do to declare thy statutes, or that thou shouldest take thy covenant in thy mouth?
Right? So the wicked is all the other nations except for the Israelites. They don't even have the right to take the covenant into their mouth. They can't even repeat the covenant. That's separation if it ain't right. You can't live by my laws if you can't even say them back to me. right? How you gonna live by my laws if you can't even verbally teach them to someone? You're not allowed to, according to our laws. Who you'd even put them in your mouth? They're not for you, right?
That's right.
That's what brothers supposed to teach when it comes to the Bible. They're supposed to teach what the Bible says, right? The Bible says we're supposed to gather together as a nation not desired. Ethiopians are not desired. They're very desired. All you Negroes want to be Ethiopians, but they hate you.
Only black Jews that Esau shows is the Ethiopian Jews. They're desired more than us.
Yeah. They're now, right now, getting off of planes as we speak, every like 10 hours. Getting put into Israel as the tribes of Ephraim, Manasseh, and Naphtali.
With the Chinese folks.
With the Chinese people. With the Mandarin fringes and the Mandarin tunics. You know what I'm saying? So this is what's happening. And brothers ain't realizing that that's what's happening. This dude on stage named Esau, who's a brother, just told everybody in the crowd that if you was black in the Bible, you was Ethiopian. In the Bible, in Isaiah 43:3, says that God gave the Israelites, the Ethiopians, for ransom with the Egyptians. Right?
What was the purpose of the children of Israel being chosen for, Kenan? And what's your point?
Hold on, before you keep that.
Yeah, I'm gonna let him answer that. We can keep going. I just want to see what his answer
Yeah,
goes.
keep that on there.
The reason that even Northern Africa, which has a lot of Berber and lighter black people, those people were.
We're gonna fast forward. Give me Psalm 72:10. Let me see what that says.
Come on, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 72, and verse 10. The kings of Tarshish and the isles shall bring presents, and the kings of Sheba and Seba shall offer gifts.
Oh, damn. This is more ransom. It's telling you that Africans, particularly the Canaanites and the Ethiopians, right, is going to be bringing the Israelites tribute in the kingdom, proving that they're going to be ransom, right? They're going to be bringing us all day stuff, all day gifts. Give me Proverbs 21:18.
I love this answer. I got an answer for that too. You said Proverbs 21:18.
Whoa. What'd he say?
He said they were to be a nation of priests and a light to the Gentiles.
All right, go ahead.
This is Proverbs 21:18. The wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous, and the transgressor for the upright.
Yeah, the wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous. So here's the thing. We can't be a light to the Gentiles unless we run the Gentiles. We can't be a light to them if they don't see the light, right? And if you standing on top of a light, you cover it, right? The Bible says via the curses of the Bible, Deuteronomy 28:43. Get that from me, Judah.
Said it, which precept, Salaki?
Deuteronomy 28:43.
This is the book of Deuteronomy 28:43. The stranger that is within
challenging
thee
you right now. You don't have to pull no scriptures. You're already wrong. I know Deuteronomy 4 and Deuteronomy 7, right? But I'm trying to show you how we never got to be a light to the nations because we went off like Moses said we were going to do a couple chapters after what you're talking about, brother. The point is what it says here. The reason it's talking about future tense, how we're going to have ransom of the other nations, is because it never happened in the way it was supposed to happen. Therefore, we never got to be a light to the nations the way we were supposed to. Right now, we're supposed to wake ourselves up and be a light to ourselves because we went off. That's what the Bible says. That's why Jesus got to come back. He got to put us back in a place where we can be a light to the nations. Right now, the nations are a light to us, and the light is helping us kill ourselves and stuff. It's a red light that's making y'all go crazy. Go ahead, I read that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
So the stranger that is within us, the stranger that is without us, all the heathen round about us, they're going to get above us very high, and we're going to come down very low. You can't see the light if it's too low for you to see it. So we are not a light to the Gentiles. Therefore, you have to ask yourself, well, why are we not a light to the Gentiles? The reason why is because we sinned. We fell off. We didn't do what the Most High told us to do. And then he says the Bible is a mixture of truth and falsehood. No, you're a mixture of truth and falsehood.
Never mind.
You're probably a mixture of truth and white.
I ain't gonna hold you because my smoke detector don't got no battery, so ain't nothing gonna go off. You know what I'm saying? If the room gets filled up. All right, no, I'm playing.
Yeah, definitely.
He said he agree. I don't know what you agree with.
Me either. Okay, he said we fell off, so he agrees that we the Israelites.
Oh, okay, yeah, we fell off if you were Israelite. We didn't fall off if you're not an Israelite. If you're not an Israelite, you about to fall off. But it ain't happened just yet.
I would definitely agree that like the way that we talk about race and categorize race today is very different than like even the medieval period or the ancient period and all that. I mean, to add to that, I would say, and Denise Buell points this out in her book, Why This New Race, looking at the function of race in early Christianity, that we don't even have a uniform way of talking about race in the world today. It's not like we even have one. I mean, I'm biracial. So I'm one thing in the U.S., like Esau said, I'm black in the U.S. But I go to South Africa, I'm colored. And then I go to West Africa, and they're like, "Oh, you look white." And so it's not even like we have a uniform one today. And it was the same thing back then. And so
he's Ethiopian. He said if he go to West Africa, they say he's white. So do you think that Ethiopians really calling themselves black? If the black people in West Africa look at him and say he's white, don't that mean they're used to being called black by people his complexion? And the people his complexion are used to acting like white people? He just said that because he's been to Africa. He just told you Ethiopian don't mean black. Because when you go over there, they don't say, "Oh, you're Ethiopian." They say you're white.
What Esau was saying, definitely North Africans were able to participate in Romanitas, they were part of the Roman Empire. I mean, North Africa, Egypt were civilizations that existed long before the Roman Empire, but then they were
those people in the Africa and the Roman Empire, those slaves and stuff. Because you have to understand, when the Roman Empire was white, it wasn't no damn Arabs that had got there yet. It was black folks that they had in captivity, and the majority of them was us. Most of the people in Sudan had already been kicked out. I mean, most people, like the real Egyptians, had already been kicked into the Sudan. So those black people that was there, they weren't even the Arabs. It wasn't whitewashed like he's trying to tell you now. That didn't happen until 649 AD. 600 years after Christ died is when Egypt became whitewashed. So the history he's talking about in the Bible, those were black people. Those were Israelites that were there under Ptolemy, Antiochus. It was us. But he don't know history, just like the rest of them. So he's literally lying to the people in the crowd, making it seem like, it was Ethiopians that were a part of this Roman Empire. It wasn't. It was Israelites that were a part of the Roman Empire.
All colonized right before or around the time of the emergence of Christianity. So when Christianity comes around, Egyptians, North Africans, they're all Roman citizens, but they're clearly not white by modern standards.
They're Roman citizens, but the majority of the people that were actually Egyptian and Ethiopian, they moved away. That's why there's Egypt and Ethiopia. I mean, that's why there's Ethiopia now in the Sudan, and it's not that close to Egypt. It's nowhere near Alexandria, where Alexander had his reign at, and Ptolemy and Antiochus and them, because them people left. Hello. So the people there predominantly that was in those captivities was us. But he's not telling you that. He's trying to make it sound like we were Ethiopian.
But the tricky thing is that they were white by ancient standards. And, like Esau was saying, back then, a black person would have been seen as an Ethiopios, which is a racial term. It's not an ethnic term. Ethiopios just means black person, and it would get used. Now,
I'm going to stop here. Ethiopios just means black person. While we get this, we can talk to Kenneth again. Who's to blame for our fall? You. Kenneth White. Mm-hmm.
I'm open to having a conversation with Kenneth.
We could let Kenneth come on. Kenneth,
are you still on, Kenneth? Boaz gonna be mad at me. Where you at, Kenneth? He gone. Kenneth gone.
Oh, Kenneth left. All right. Nope. I see Kenneth.
Oh, there he go.
No, us, we. Well, what you saying, Kenneth?
He's saying that we are responsible for all.
We are responsible for the fall. You know what? Yeah, we are responsible for the fall if you are Kenneth Black. But if you're Kenneth White, you know, I blame you, Kenneth. So look, the brother that was in the video, Dr. Bantu, said that Ethiopia means, or Ethiopias just means black. That ain't true. Because if that was the case, Acts 13 would have said there were certain prophets and scribes as Barnabas and Simeon that were called Ethiopias, right? That were called the Ethiopian. It would have said that, but it don't. I'm gonna show you guys what it says. This is the Blue Letter Bible, so that nobody thinks I was here. Let's go back, so y'all know exactly what we're looking at here. This is Acts chapter 13, verse 1. It reads, "Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that were called Niger, and Lucius the Cyrene, and Menon, and so on, so on." So it's really called nigger, right? And I'm gonna show you the pronunciation. G3526. You see spelling, but look at the pronunciation.
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
He was excited to pronounce that one.
You see? That's the Google pronunciation. So when they wanted to say black in Greek, that's what they said, not Ethiopios. Ethiopios. No. When they named their brother Black, they even called him what?
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
They even have it here as a surname, right? Black, Negro, right? A Christian. Oh, damn. Oh, a Christian, not an Ethiopias.
Now we have to get what the word Christian is in the Strong's before people get simple.
I ain't finna get that, because if they that simple, they need more than milk. we can't help them with that. But look, and then look, it says surname of Prophet Simon. So they're trying to say it was his surname. But then when you look into the New Living Translation, it doesn't say he was called the Black or he was last name Black. It says he was called the Black Man. So what? They was calling.
Whoa, wait. Salakia. That flew over my head.
You just caught what it said?
Yeah, go back.
They say here at the bottom, it says Strong's G36, Latin name Black. Nigger.
Now, but go above
that. Name of Prophet Simon, right? So they're trying to say that the Prophet Simon last name was Black.
But now go above that though.
Huh?
Go above right there. What says Strong's definition? It says nigger, a Christian. Yeah. If nigger means black, and I'm just gonna say it. All right, Kenneth. All right, brother Kenneth. Yeah, catches.
I'll try to keep up with you, brothers. I'm checking out. All right, go ahead, check out. Just don't check all the way out, because just
this brother crazy.
Drink some water.
But it said nigger, a Christian. If nigger means black and a Christian means follower of Christ, the follower of Christ was who? Black.
Now, when they last name a brother Black, I'm just gonna show this to you, right? Wasn't no Jack Black type brothers back in the day. They used to be like the dude we showed you guys before, right? Like Persinius. Okay, Gaius Priscinius Niger was a Roman emperor for a year. When during the 5 emperors, he claimed the imperial throne in response to the murder of Pertinax and the elevation of Didius Julianus, but was defeated by rival Clement Septimius Severus, right? So that's Septimius, and killed while attempting to flee from Antioch. So they fought each other. Septimius ended up winning, and he got the throne. But these was both Negroes, just on 2 different sides of the playing field. You feel me? So, yeah. All right, back to the video. We ain't got too much longer. About to close out in just a little bit. I'm gonna show you a little bit more of these before we get to precepts. Let me take off the double. All right.
To refer to people from South India, South.
And then he's trying to say Ethiopia also is the name that they used to refer to people from South India, South Africa, which is true. They would refer to all of those people as burnt face. But when they talk about us, Niger. Right? So that's what we have to understand, which is why we're the only ones that continue to have that byword today, because that was their tradition back then. That's the way it goes. Let's fast forward to 1858.
The places that is the most receptive, recognizing a distinction between Africans of noble descent, especially Congolese, and then commoners. Commoners are the ones that are enslaved. Those of nobility are the ones that are welcome into the colleges and universities in Portugal at that time. They are able to become, a few of them become professors. Some of them, like Juan, Latinos recognized.
And I also want to point this out too, right? I'm going to show you guys this just for your own records, right? Anytime you go against some Ethiopian black dudes, because they out there. We've had them come to camp and all that stuff. We got a video with a brother who thought he was Ethiopian and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Old street teaching video. But I want to show you guys this right here. When did Ethiopia get the name Ethiopia, right? It says the kingdom adopted the name Ethiopia during the reign of Ezania in the 4th century, right? So it's been called Ethiopia for a very long time. It was known by the place as Abyssinia afterwards, right? And it's telling you it was Kush before that, which is why the Ethiopians that know their history, they know about the word Kush because it's, you know, Googleable. that's what they were called, and that's what their people are known as. So it's no way that you can, you know, say that Ethiopians aren't the people we're saying they are, because even Google tells you that they are Kush, and the Bible tells you Kush is a separate people from the Israelites, right? So the name Ethiopia is a newer name, but it's a name also that they've had for a long time. So when the explorers were likening Native Americans to the Ethiopians, they weren't calling them Ethiopians. They were just saying these people are dark like the Ethiopians. But when they spoke about them, they called them black. That's the thing that y'all got to understand. But I just wanted to point that out. Let's get back to the video.
As a distinguished poet. Others of them are part of the Council of Trent, the famous Roman Catholic council that leads to what becomes the Catholic Reformation. You also have the fact that right next to St. Peter's Basilica is St. Stephen's Chapel that allows for the Ethiopians to have their liturgy engaged. All these things that we won't see during the rise of modern racism, where color will become the distinction, where black will become the name of the slave. There are Indians in India that are enslaved. There's Europeans in Eastern Europe are enslaved, but black will become the color of enslavement, in my argument, with the rise of modern racism. So I think the challenge.
What he's not telling them is that the black people that were, you know, the face of racism were not Ethiopian. So once again, this brother who's throwing out all these dates and stuff to try to make stuff seem relevant, threw out a bunch of irrelevant stuff. That's the only reason I played a little bit of information from him, right? But he's trying to get you guys to understand how to address race, and which is what the other brothers are supposed to be explaining. And they all went to, you know, where these Ethiopian people. You know what I'm saying? But what needs to be understood is, and he's also going to say at the end of this, like, there's no chosen race. We're all the same people. But 1 Peter 2:9 in the Good News translation, the English Standard Version, and a bunch of other versions literally says, ye are a chosen race. You know what I'm saying? So it's known that there is a chosen race of people, that chosen race of people is black, because we just looked in the Strongs that Niger, or, Niger, which means black, is also connected to the word Christian, to let you know that the Christians were black people, right? There were certain Christians that were called the black man, right? Specifically. And it's noted in history, so they have to tell you that, which is why the Strong says what is it. So things like that is what he's trying to explain to you, but it's mostly, it was just irrelevant. Let's go here.
And sub-Saharan Africa, they all make Jesus to look like them. That is part of what it means to be art. You want God who looks like you. The difference is the Ethiopian Jesus or the Japanese Jesus didn't go and colonize people and then plant that Jesus in front of colonized people. So in other words,
so I want you guys to realize what's going on here now, right? They asked another question about black Jesus and whether black Jesus is important to show to other people, like to black people and Hispanic people, right? So instead of mentioning how, yeah, it's important for us to see a God that looks like us, he's beginning the conversation by saying, well, everybody makes a God that looks like them. They all have a black Jesus. Every culture has a Jesus that looks like them. So he's trying to make it now a conversation where it's cool for you to, the Asian people got an Asian Jesus, white folks got a white Jesus, Ethiopians got an Ethiopian Jesus. And the difference is the white Jesus is the one that made everybody believe he was Jesus. So we should just be mad at them. You know what I'm saying? But the Bible says something specific about that. Give me John 7:38. And this is why it's more scattering of the flock, right? Because, the pastor is telling you here that it's cool for all these other people to have their own image and description of Jesus, which is why it's cool in the church for you to not know what he looked like, right? For you to not know who his people are and what they look like. He was olive color. Well, olive only come in two colors, and y'all never make it the color that a person is. Y'all always try to make him like an alien from the description you give, but every time you show a picture of him, he's never green or black, never olive color. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. So he's mentioning that without mentioning, well, hey, the Asian people shouldn't have a Jesus because Jesus was black. Yeah, it's important to show black people that Jesus was black because Jesus was black. And it's important for other nations not to try to make him their whatever they are, you know what I'm saying, because they're not black. But you also have to understand the church has this thing about, God making every man in his image. So they'll say, well, the Asians are made in his image too, so they can make a Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Ishmael's is in his image too, so they can make a, DJ Khaled looking Jesus and stuff like that. That's what it is. We're all made in his image. So that's the angle that they're going to speak here when it comes to the image, because they know that us Israelites, that's a big thing for us. There's certain camps that even have like pictures of the Messiah out there to show people, right? So-called pictures to show people a description like, hey, this is what he would have looked like versus this is what they give you, right? So they know that this is something that we harp on specifically, which is why they're bringing it up. But the angle that they're speaking on it from is the angle of it don't matter what color Jesus is that you're depicting because we're all Jesus' sons. We're all brothers in Jesus. We're all family in Father Abraham. That's how they want you to believe it. So just check this out. Read John 7:38 first. Then we'll
This is the book of John, chapter 7, and verse 38. He that believeth on me, as the scriptures have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
No, he that believeth in me, as all the nations said, because, we all made in Jesus' image.
He that believeth on me, as the scripture has said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
Okay. All right. Out of his belly shall flow rivers of wine.
Living water.
Oh, okay. All right.
like the Ethiopian Jesus is still in Ethiopia. He's not running around everywhere else. And so what happened then?
Yeah, the white Jesus was on good
white
time.
Jesus was there. Right. So what happens is now you have yourself in a context in which there are black people with a blonde and blue-eyed Jesus. And then in our context, it goes into film. And then everybody in Egypt is white. And then like Moses, everybody. And so you get this place where
you see, everybody in Egypt is white. They're so happy to say Egypt is black and that they're not supposed to be whitewashing Egypt, but ain't nobody saying and everybody in Israel is white. It shouldn't be that way. They was black. They're right next to Egypt. If Egypt was black, why isn't Israel black? Like Moses. Like he said Moses, but then he didn't even say all of Moses' name because they're scared to say these people was black. Which is why he has to tell you it's cool for all them to have their own nation, have their own Jesus. Even though the Bible says what it says, right? Why is it important for us to have a God that looks like us? Because when we don't, it's detrimental, right? Other brothers is going to say that.
people didn't get conscious.
The truth sets you free. If you know that the Messiah looks like you, ain't that going to make you, do better? Because, like, yo, damn, like, he my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, but a lot of brothers don't even have that thought process, don't even got that mindset because, sisters too, don't even got that thought process, don't got that mindset because they've been taught what he's teaching. It don't matter.
And they say, well, biblical scholars do the exact same thing. They effectively make the standards for having black characters in the Bible and the scholarship really high. And then you have this place where black people are running around trying to find themselves in biblical text.
And there's that phrase again. Black people are running around trying to find themselves in biblical text just because they found out that there's black people in the Bible. No, we're waiting on y'all to tell us the people in the Bible were black, not Ethiopian black. There was black, fried chicken and watermelon black, right? That's what they tell us, right? We love us some fried chicken and love us some watermelon. So that's why I said that. Don't get mad. Ethiopians don't eat fried chicken and watermelon. I bet y'all didn't know that. They don't, unless they grew up around us. That's the facts. Nipsey Hussle ate fried chicken because his mama was black. If he grew up in an Ashkodom household, he was not eating no fried chicken. I guarantee you. He was eating fufu. Exactly. So that's what brothers got to understand. Okay? They was black, not Ethiopian black. There is a difference.
Trying to recover our history. And so part of it is the impact of colonialization, not just those depictions. Because, like, you can go, in my house, we had black Jesus and white Jesus on the same wall. We never even tried to.
What? He said at my house, we have black Jesus and white Jesus on the same wall. So he ain't teaching his kids, hey, this is the real one, this is the fake one. He's teaching them, pick a side, any side, choose a color, any color. Right? Come on, bro.
This ain't good times.
That's what it is, though. He said, white Jesus made good times. White Jesus made your wall too, Negro. No, sis, you're supposed to put them together. We're all made in God's image.
So he's saying whatever depiction of Jesus resonates with you, that's the one that's real.
Yeah. If his daughter liked the white one, she could go get her a white guy. Or vice versa. If his son liked the white one, he could go get a white girl. If his daughter liked the black one, she gonna go get Rico. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was about to say, bro. This is funny, but I was about to say, well, if that's the case, I can look at you and say, you know what? I know you black, but it's a white person. I was about to say, bro, I know you black, but you know what I'm saying? I can imagine a white version of Esau, but there is a white Esau. I'm tripping.
His name Esau.
Right. But I say, there's a white version. I can imagine a white version. There is a white version. But shit, that means I can imagine a Chinese version, a damn Arab version. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, it's a black Jackie Chan too, right?
This is not the fairy
black Bruce Lee. His brother's last name Bruce, brother's first name Bruce and last name Lee. So, yeah. All right.
To reconcile them, it was my mom's way of trying to balance those things out. But I don't think the instinct of like a guy in Italy to paint Jesus looking Italian was bad. It's the fact that that guy then went and colonized people and then said that.
So he don't think painting a black Jesus was bad. He think it's colonizing. So he don't think that if 15 years from now somebody painted Esau McCully as a white person, he wouldn't be mad at that. It'd be the fact that if you went and colonized everybody and told him Esau McCully was a white person, that's when you'd have a problem with it. Are you serious? Judah, somebody got to colonize some stuff to take your face and make it white for you to get mad about it?
I guess so.
I'm gonna let Vince talk and then we're done.
It's the one who told me to do it.
Whiteness. So that painter and all the painters that painted him with white, they also were doing it with the belief that God and Jesus could only be white because white equals purity. And again, that goes back to the Tanhuma Midrash where you have the curse of Ham. People think the curse of Ham was invented in the modern period. No, that goes back to like late antique 4th century Jewish Midrash where they said that Ham's was
because everybody know what Canaan did. It was a story passed down, which is another way you know that the Bible is a real book. Because everybody know that you Negroes from Canaan is supposed to be the slaves to everybody. Everybody know that, which is why when we got put in slavery, they had no problem putting us in slavery. That would be the origin story. Oh, why are these people slaves? Oh, they're the Canaanites. The Americans just took that and ran with it. But yes, it was a story that was out there before because Abraham's seed is actually alive. They live. So they passed down the story. People in the Middle East knew about Canaan. People in Africa knew about Canaan. People in so-called Europe knew about Canaan. So
was cursed when it was actually Canaan, and all of his black progeny are cursed. And then that's repeated by...
It's not all his black progeny. It's you and your people. We wasn't cursed with him. We are Shem. Everybody's kin to you is not kin to you. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make us the dogs of Egypt and Ethiopia when we're not. Right? They're trying to make us Tyre and Sidon when we're not. We're Israel. Feel me?
Islamic medieval historians all throughout the 7, 8, 9, 1000s. So these anti-black sentiments are in white Christianity, European Christianity, Judaism, and Islam in the medieval and in the late antique period.
What he didn't explain was, these racist sentiments are in, and white Christianity, black Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. And nobody's actually telling you that the real Jews was black. None of them have said that one time. About real Jews, fake Jews, Hebrew Israelites being, black people being Israelites, nothing like that. Just black people were there too. You feel? So I'm gonna basically shut that down.
From the very beginning, that's how it became whitewashed. Because
that's how it became whitewashed. So let's get some precepts and we could close it out. Give me John 8:32, right? Because what brothers need to understand is that the truth will set you free.
Book of John, chapter 8, verse 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
That's why it's important to teach who the Israelites are, what color Christ was, all that type of stuff, right? Because the truth, knowing that stuff, helps brothers and sisters wake up, helps them feel better about themselves, go about the day, with the head held high and stuff like that, because they know what's up. They know who they're related to, right? You go to like books like Romans 8:30 or 28-30. It basically tells you Jesus or Mashiach Yahushua is going to be the first of many brethren. Once you put that together, you realize you're an Israelite. You're like a sibling of the Messiah in a way. He created you, but you're also a sibling at the same time. He's from the tribe of Judah. You're an Israelite. Yeah, we're like cousins, but we also brothers and sisters too, technically, if you want to, be technical, because of, Jacob. So that would make us all brothers and sisters if you Israelite, which is why we call each other brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? And nobody else on the planet does that. Even the dude at the gas station, Elam, he know that, hey, brother, how you doing, brother? because they know we the only ones that really have that type of title on the earth. Just like they know to call you black, and they're not gonna call that to the Ethiopian. We're the only ones whose family structure go like that. We're all brothers and sisters, but we kind of cousins too. The way other people would be cousins, we're brothers and sisters because our father had a bunch of wives. You know what I'm saying? And a bunch of kids. So these are the things that brothers got to understand. If we knew more of the truth, if more of our people knew the facts, wouldn't be no us thinking that the Bible was a white man's book. They wouldn't have to answer all them questions that they be trying to set up for the panel to answer. You know what I'm saying? If they just told the truth about it. That's why they like us, because we tell the truth about it. And then the stuff that we say, they easily go and research to find out if we was telling the truth or not. They say stuff in a vague way to where it sounds like it's good, and you don't really want to go look it up because they said so damn much. So it's not no key point that you could just take from the stuff they say and then go Google it or Bing it or Yahoo, whatever. Go read it in a book. You can't go do that because the way they're explaining, and they're doing it on purpose to prevent you from being able to get the correct answer, right? So they're hoping everything that they taught in that video, the conference they got coming up in September, and every other conference that they're going to have, is going to put brothers and sisters that watch that conference in a situation where they now have enough information to where they don't need to go search out things from us. They only come to us on the street if they heard something, and now they want to go get some answers. They know where to find us. I promise you they do, because they passed us before downtown. Even if they've never been there, they know where you at. And when they have a question, they decide to come and answer. Or I'm going to come and ask. So they're figuring, if we're going to put enough information out there, it ain't going to be exactly what they want, because we can't do that. But we're going to put enough out there to where they not, since they don't really know what they want, they don't know that they're Israelites. So they don't really know that they want to actually be connected back with their culture and their heritage. We could make it seem like their heritage is black. And black is whatever you want black to be. If you want black to be Ethiopian, that's black. If you want black to be East Indian, that's black. If you want black to be South African, that's black. Ishmael, that's black. Right? They tell you. So this is what we have to understand in regards to that, right? Give me Baruch chapter 2 and 29. You on mute.
You said the book of Baruch?
Yep, 2 and 30. Yeah, forget it. Just do 2 and 30. You ain't got
Okay, come. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 2 and verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it was a stiff-necked people.
Mm-hmm.
In the land of their captivity shall they remember themselves.
You see that? So we're stiff-necked people. We're going to remember ourselves in the land of our captivities. That's what you have to remember. So they're not going to be able to stop us from coming into the truth, because we're waking up in the land of our captivity, right? So, I mean, that's what we're doing. It's not going to be any type of information, no amount of information that they're going to give you that's going to stop you from doing it. So in order to connect what you need to connect, you'd have to connect your heritage, which is why the Bible says things like Sirach, 17:11. It says things like Sirach 24:23 to tell you what the culture and heritage of our people are. The so-called black people, the ones that are called black acts, you know what I'm saying? And then throughout history after that, the ones that are called Israelites, Christians, right? Our culture and heritage is the Bible. That's what we're supposed to be teaching people. You feel? Yeah. So, I'm trying to see. I don't need to bring all those down. Let me show you this stuff. Tariq off the top. Give me Jeremiah 6 and 16. Let me show you one last thing. Just so y'all know. Last note that they were going to make was that Christianity was a global religion, but the Bible wasn't. And that's, or that Christianity was global and the Bible was global, and that the beliefs of the Bible were global. And that's not true. Christianity is a global thing, but the Bible was never global until they made it like that, right? The Bible was something that was just for us. And as you see, that being the case, that's the reason why Christians still don't really adhere to the tenets of the Bible. They do their own thing. They have their own holidays and all that type of stuff. They don't do what the Bible says, because the Bible used to be separate from Christianity. Christianity was just something that they used the Bible for. Like it was the book that Christianity was based off of, but it was never actually used for Christianity, if that makes sense. And it's still like that today, which is why we follow what the Bible says and they don't. And we're considered a different religion, even though we all use the same book. So something to prove that, right? The people who actually had the book in Africa, if you want to go to Ethiopia, they were Ethiopian Jews. I'm not going to read all of this or even a lot of it, just a little piece of it. It says, in the mountains of Ethiopia, a group of Ethiopians have celebrated their Jewish heritage for centuries. We just looked into Jewish heritage. And these brothers, right, for the most part, they don't look like Ethiopians. They look like brothers, right? That's how you know the difference between us and Ethiopians. Even when we got brothers in Ethiopia, they don't really look like Ethiopians when they stand next to an Ethiopian. They look like us. It says these Ethiopian Jews living in a remote mountain region in northwestern Ethiopia, an area which until recently could only be reached on foot or on horseback, are Black Jews who call themselves Kala or Beta Israel or House of Israel, right? They observe the Sabbath as indicated in the Torah, eat only kosher food, pray in straw-roofed synagogues, use only unleavened bread during the 7 days of Passover, right? I want to put this out there because the guy in the video said that the Ethiopian Christians, they do communion, right? And they're the ones that everybody was trying to get to in Ethiopia to find out about the Bible. But these Ethiopian Jews, so-called, right, they actually keep Passover, which would mean they do a form of what they call communion, but they do it the way the Bible says to do it. So these people would be the people that I would think would be the ones that you go to if you're going to go to Ethiopia to find out about the Bible, if they're actually doing what the Bible says. Not the people that are doing what the white folks said to do that aren't around the white folks. That just means they're copying somebody, right? So that's what we got to understand. That Martin Luther only went to these people because he knew that the Bible started with Black people. We have to find the Black people that have nothing to do with the Bible, that have still been around the Bible for a long time, so we can make them seem like the people that it started with. And that's how this whole thing began. But again, that's a lesson for another time. Last thing I'm going to show you guys. You got Jeremiah 6:16?
Yep.
Last thing I'm going to show you all before we get up out of here is this, right? Jews of Balad, Sudan, right? See, it's Judo-Arabic, right? Reason why is because if you were watching the beginning of the video, the guy basically mentioned how it was Esau McCulley said that there's a lot of Black people that don't believe that the Bible was with us or whatever because West Africa is Muslim and stuff like that. The reason West Africa is Muslim is because there was a Muslim invasion in the 1600s, right? During that invasion, 6 and 700s, I'll say. So during that invasion, 6 and 700s by the Arabs, they went and took over a bunch of these people, right? In West Africa, North Africa, Central Africa, East Africa, and sent them to different places if they didn't cooperate with, Islam and stuff like that. And a lot of our people got put into captivity. This went on all the way into the Songhai Empire in the 1500s, okay? We got the Mali Empire, Songhai Empire, all them type of things, right? Mali is Mansa Musa and all of them and stuff. So we got Sika Muhammad and the Songhai Empire in West Africa. And there's actually brothers and sisters that were in these places that knew they were Israelites around the Islamic era, and their leaders had Israelite names. I've showed y'all this before. It's from a book called Tariq al-Fatash. It describes the community called Beni Israel that in 1402, right, existed in Tin Meridia. It's a village in the commune of the Circle of Dyer in the Timbuktuan region of Mali. So this is in Mali, West Africa, right? They possess 333 wells and had 7 leaders, 7 being the number for completion in the Bible. So they had a complete number of leaders. One was named Jabarut bin Hashim, right? Son of the Messiah. Theolaman, which is it's a rendition of another name. Ben Abdel Hakim, which that's a rendition of like Israelite name mixed with Muslim, but they did that. Same thing here. Zior bin Salam, same thing here. Adel Latif bin Soliman, right? It would be Solomon. This is Malek or Malak, King bin Ayub, right? So, son of Joseph, right? So these type of things. Even though it's spelled in an Arabic way, the reason why is because it was Arabic people that recorded it. Doesn't mean that their name was actually written like this, transliterated like this, or pronounced like this. They didn't have Muslim names, but they're showing you these were Israelite names that are written, transliterated in the Arabic language, right? They're still Israelite names. So I just wanted to make that clear. These are Israelite people that were in this land that knew they were Israelites, right? So, yeah, that's just a little bit of information. Jews of Balad el Sudan. So, give me Jeremiah 6 and 16.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6 and verse 16. Thus saith the Most High, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein.
We will not walk therein. And that's what's been happening, right? We put out the information and brothers and sisters don't want to listen to it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the problem. And I see somebody said there were Jews in China. Yeah, the Ming Dynasty. I ain't going to say the Ming Dynasty was Jews, if that's what you're saying. But there were Jews in China.
When they had us under captivity at a certain point in time. I heard that before.
Yeah. I don't know if... I know the King Dynasty, QIN, had Israelites in captivity. I don't know about the Ming per se. I have to look into that. But yeah, if the Ming was around during the Silk Road, then they had us in captivity too. But yeah, we definitely had Jews in China. There were also Jews in Japan. That one samurai that you know about, that was a brother. He was an Israelite that was taken over there in captivity from East Africa. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. That's just a little bit of history for y'all. Proof that we're not African. Wasn't no African Christianity. The African Christians were Israelites. Point blank period. Right? Last week, if you watched that lesson, we kind of went into a little bit of that too, with some pictures and stuff. So if you need that, y'all can go back to that. Be sure to tune into the classes for the rest of the week. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Thank you for your support. Like and share the video if you haven't already. You know what I'm saying? Make sure to tune in for the classes the rest of the week. Again, all of them. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see y'all next week. We got the Sons of Thunder Israelites. It is our prayer and heart's desire that all Israel might be saved. Shalom.
Shalom.